All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Ohio State had its second pro day today. And honestly, there's tons of really, really talented Buckeyes coming out. Like this class, I feel like for the school is really good. Now, it's not, we're not going to have 10 guys go in the first round or anything crazy like that. But I feel like when you look across the team, offense, defense, skill positions in the trenches, they have a lot of players that will make an impact at the next level. We're going to get into a bunch of prospects in a second, right? Guys that I feel like would be really, really good fits for the New York Jets. System fits as well with the new coaching staff coming in. But let's start with Justin Fields. He's kind of the headliner of the pro day. Now, supposedly, this pro day was ran by the coaches. Okay, so it starts getting really interesting when you're starting to take a look at what teams actually attended the pro day. And by the way, how many of these teams are picking within the top 10? We have the Denver Broncos at 9. We have the Carolina Panthers at 8. We have the New England Patriots at 15. But there's a chance that they can trade up. I mean, I would say right now there's a high chance of this team trading up. And then we had Arthur Smith and the Atlanta Falcons attend, and they hold the 4th overall pick. So it's really getting intriguing here. To me personally, I feel like the Falcons are the perfect landing spot for Justin Fields because he can walk into a situation where he's not expected to be the savior of the franchise the minute he signs his rookie deal. He's not expected to turn the franchise around in year one, much like Trevor Lawrence and probably Zach Wilson with the New York Jets, where it's, they're the guy, what can you do? Let's, we're going to put you out there and see what happens. With Justin Fields, it's more so, we're going to sit you a year behind Matt Ryan, a great mentor, a guy who's seen a ton of NFL defenses, a guy who's played for a long time. He's had good seasons. He's had bad seasons. He's played in a Super Bowl. He's won an MVP. And when Matt Ryan retires in 2022, or he ends up with another team in 2022, Justin Fields takes over with a year on the bench with no pressure, understands and knows the offense, and has built that chemistry and continuity with his teammates, and he's walking into a situation with tons of offensive weapons. Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and Hayden Hurst, a bunch of first-round picks invested in the offensive line. This is, and by the way, he's playing in a dome and he's from the state of Georgia, so all in all, man, I would be hoping to go to Atlanta if I was Justin Fields, but we have the San Francisco 49ers going as well with Kyle Shanahan. They hold the 3rd pick. And they're kind of the wild card, and I completely understand that Mac Jones is the favorite, I guess, at this point, but I'm not fully buying that. I really don't think it's going to be Mac Jones. I could be dead wrong. It's just a guess here, but I think it's either going to be Fields or Lance. So it'll be key for Shanahan to get that up close and personal look at Justin Fields, who overall I think is an incredible quarterback prospect. There's so much to work with: accuracy, size, mobility, arm strength, great leadership. I mean, you want to talk about a mature individual. Fields is not going to come in and rock the boat or try to, sabotage his competition. Nothing like that. He's going to come in and do exactly what you tell him to do. He's going to pick up the offense and try every single day, give it 100%. I mean, we saw that on display in the Clemson game. Playing her, willing his team to victory, throwing 6 touchdown passes against Clemson of all teams. I mean, the guy, to me, I think is being a little overanalyzed, which is unfortunate. But at the end of the day, I feel like Fields coming out of college is a really good quarterback prospect, and I think he could do damage at the next level. I believe in Fields. I think there's something there. And by the way, Joe Douglas went to the Ohio State Pro Day, right? But the rumor is they're more so focusing on the defensive players, maybe some other offensive players. So let's get into some of these other prospects. So we have Josh Meyers, center, 6'5", 310 pounds, an absolute monster in the running game. Okay, and we all know Mike LaFleur's system is going to be based off of the running game success, the zone blocking system, the zone blocking attack. Does Josh Meyers fit that system? Does he have that skill set to excel in this style of system? He does. He's explosive, he has the great size, and he's done a pretty good job at zone blocking in college. So I think if maybe the Jets miss out on a Creed Humphrey, Josh Meyers could be there. I want to say maybe 1st pick in the 3rd round. I think that'd be pretty good value. We have cornerback Shaun Wade, one of my favorite players in this draft, 6 foot, 195 pounds. This is a guy right now whose stock has plummeted since the start of the season because he had a rocky 2020 season. Okay, like he was moved around the defense. He went from slot corner to outside and struggled, right? And now it's not like he was horrendous, because obviously he kept the job and he made plays from time to time and he had a couple good games, but all in all, he his play didn't reflect that first round lock title that he was given going into the 2020 season. So Shaun Wade right now is projected to go around late round 3, early round 4. I gotta be honest, with that second, third round pick, I would take Shaun Wade to be the slot corner. I wouldn't ask Shaun Wade to be the starting outside cornerback anyway. I would just draft him with the intent of putting him in the slot and letting him work. I feel like one of the biggest issues with Shaun Wade in 2020 was that it seemed like he got in his head a little bit too much, and it was like the defense's success kind of was put on his shoulders, if you will. I think that might have got to him, right? Being on an island on the outside every single down, every single week. I think if you put him in the slot where you kind of eliminate some of that thinking and you just let his athletic ability do the talking, his length do the talking, I think that's really where Shaun Wade not only has excelled, but will excel at the next level. So I really like Shaun Wade. Again, I know a lot of people are kind of jumping off his bandwagon. A lot of people are sour to Shaun Wade, but at the end of the day, I still really like him as a prospect. Next up, outside linebacker Baron Browning, a really intriguing player, 6'2", 245 pounds, an athletic freak, a guy who I feel like would be a perfect system fit for what Robert Saleh wants to do, that 4-3 weak side linebacker. Now, Browning came into Ohio State with a ton of expectations, 5-star athlete coming out of high school. A lot of people were expecting a lot from Browning, and nothing really happened. It wasn't until later in his Buckeyes career where he started to blossom, started to make plays. 2020, this past season, was the year that he really came onto the scene. It almost seemed like with every passing game, he got better and better and better and better. So you take that and you match it with his size, you match it with his systematic fit on defense and that athletic ability, and his stock is trending upwards. I really think that Baron Browning could just be a late bloomer here. He could be a draft steal. You can land him in round 3, maybe round 4, but I really feel like Browning's going to go round 3. People are talking about him possibly going late round 2, best case scenario, but I feel like at the end of the day, if the Jets, Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, they want to attack this weak side outside linebacker position, Browning could fit that bill. At least you could get him in the building to compete for the job. I don't necessarily think he's going to win it outright, but the upside is there. The potential is there for this guy to be an absolute beast on Sunday. Next, another one of my favorite players, offensive guard Wyatt Davis, 6'3", 315 pounds. At one point in time, Davis was considered a first-round pick. I would have loved it. I think actually in my first mock draft, I had the Jets going Wyatt Davis with that 23rd overall pick. I really like his production. I like his size. I like his upside. I like how he translates to the next level because he plays with kind of a mean streak, similar to how Mekhi Becton plays. He just wants to physically humiliate his opponents, right? Just drive them down and just make his presence known. I feel like that's what the Jets need at the interior spot of the offensive line. But Wyatt Davis got hurt last season, knee injury, pretty significant. Now, it didn't require some massive surgery, nothing like that, but he played injured and his stock suffered, especially in that last game where he had to leave early because of the injury. Now, if the medicals check out, and right now the rumor is that he's 100% healthy, he's ready to go, he's ready to roll for this upcoming season and training camp and all that good stuff, then I would love it if the Jets picked him. Okay, I would say right now you can maybe snag him at 34. Round 2, I definitely feel like he's going to be there. But round 3, that's the interesting one. If Joe Douglas wants to play it safe, you take him at 34 and you don't look back. But if he wants to roll the dice, or maybe he has his eyes set on another prospect, possibly a Creed Humphrey with that 34th overall pick, you want to roll the dice? Maybe there's a chance Wyatt Davis could be on the board with that second pick in the 3rd round that the Jets owned, all right? The first of our 3rd round picks. If we want, we can possibly trade back up into the 2nd round. We have 2 4th round picks next year. Again, we have 2 3rd round picks, so maybe we can do some sort of package deal with that and move up. I highly doubt anything more than a 3rd round pick would be involved in a trade package in the middle rounds. But I'm getting ahead of myself. All kind of hypotheticals here. Bottom line is this: Wyatt Davis is a very good prospect coming out of Ohio State. It's just the medicals. If the knee checks out, I'm totally on board with it. Next up, another outside linebacker here, Pete Werner, 6'2", 235, 240 pounds. Athletic, explosive, high floor type of player, really productive, good against the run. solid in the pass game. I think the thing working against Werner is his lack of upside. Again, high floor player. He could come in, compete for a starting job. Who knows, he might surprise people and win that job and be productive. But I think he lacks that upside that, a Jabril Cox has, Micah Parsons, even his teammate Baron Browning. Those three guys have so much room to get better. They have untapped potential, where I feel like the expectation with Werner here is that everybody knows who he is. And if you're okay with that, then by all means draft him. I would say right now round 4, round 5 is probably where he can go, unless a team falls in love with them. You can, maybe like the Buffalo Bills or something like that. I think he'd be a solid fit there. Bottom round 3, but I think Werner, he's interesting. He has a high motor, so he kind of checks that Robert Saleh box. But at the end of the day, I think it's just the lack of upside with Werner, and that's what's going to keep him from going, obviously rounds 1 and 2, probably round 3 as well, but still an intriguing prospect nonetheless. And last but not least, running back Trey Sermon, 6 foot, 215 pounds, a guy who really burst onto the scene his second year at Oklahoma, finished his career there and ended up transferring to Ohio State, played 1 season with the Buckeyes, and did really, really well. Okay, 4 touchdowns, over 800 rushing yards in 8 games. Okay, so Trey Sermon's an interesting option. Say the Jets, maybe pass on a Travis Etienne if he's on the board in round 2, a Najee Harris, Chuba Hubbard. There's tons of different guys. I know Gainwell's obviously really popular. Carter from North Carolina. There's a lot of running backs in this class. If the Jets want to maybe hold and pick maybe other positions of need, outside linebacker, corner, maybe wide receiver, interior O-line, I think you can maybe snag Trey Sermon in round 5, round 6, or round 7. I really think Sermon can be a productive player, and especially, again, with this Mike LaFleur offense, we're going to be cycling running backs in and out, just like San Francisco did. Now, we did bring in Tevin Coleman. That's awesome. I really like Josh Adams, and Ty Johnson did some really good things as well last season with the New York Jets. So obviously if they draft Sermon, it would be a pretty crowded running back room. One of those guys would either get cut, get traded, get put on the practice squad, something like that. But Sermon's an intriguing prospect nonetheless. So I think there's a lot of guys coming out of Ohio State that would fit what the Jets want to do, that would benefit this team in a lot of different ways. And I'm not, necessarily saying that we have to spend that 23rd overall pick or the 2nd pick on one of these guys. It's more so middle round, late round guys that I feel like could benefit this team. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think of Fields? Would you like him with the New York Jets? Where do you think Fields' best fit is? Maybe San Francisco at 3, Falcons at 4. I've heard a lot of talk with the Denver Broncos at 9 if he starts to fall. I doubt Carolina would take him at 8. What about the New England Patriots on a trade up? There's a lot of smoke there. We'll see what happens on draft day. And then with all of these other prospects, do you like any of them? Are you thinking, they're kind of overhyped coming out of college? So it's super interesting to, especially when you take a look at the entire roster, because these aren't all the guys here, right? I only talked about the guys that I feel like would be great fits with the New York Jets specifically. So tons of talent. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and go Jets.